I've just been trying a little bit of this sport called racquetball. Anybody that doesn't think it's a workout or that you can't get one by running around inside a little room like this is wrong. But there's a lot of fun involved, too, in a sport that isn't very old. It was began less than 20 years ago, and in that time there's been a lot of people playing. In fact, there's even a pro circuit these days. There are people in Southeast who play racquetball, too. Juneau and Ketchikan-Sitka. Most of them are probably concentrated here in Juneau, where there's a big facility. The pro here is one of the better racquetball players in the area. His name is John McConaughey. He grew up in New Zealand, represented his country in the Olympics in swimming twice. Now he's in Juneau teaching racquetball. John, where did racquetball get started? Do you know?
I'm not certain the exact time or place it did begin, but early in the 70s it started to come out of mostly universities, where a game started called paddleball, which was a wooden racket with a wooden paddle. There was no strings in the racket, just holes drilled in it. And from that developed racquetball. Most of the earlier rackets were tennis rackets that were cut off. The base had been shortened somewhat, the handle, and people used those. In fact, the ball they used to use was an old tennis ball, but there was some sort of process where they could take the fuzz off the tennis ball, and they used to play with those.
Why do people play?
A lot for the love of the game. They enjoy that tremendously. I'm certain that is part for everybody, maybe not as much for some as it is for others. The other is a great workout. It is a good aerobic workout. It's not as good as if you were cross-country skiing, running, jogging, swimming, more rhythmic, because there is a break when you finish your rally. You stop for a moment, walk up and serve again. So it's not as rhythmic as those other activities. But it ranks right up there with basketball or handball or a very solid game of badminton if somebody plays good badminton.
What's the attraction of this, chasing this little blue ball inside these four walls for you?
Well, I think you can get a tremendous amount of exercise in a very short period of time, and it's also, if you in a job where you're at a desk quite often, you build up some nervous energy and tension, and you can just get rid of all that real quick.
Well, I've been playing for about 7 years. I came here to Juneau about the same time they opened the club, and I just like to get the exercise. It's a lot of fun. Enjoy the competition and mostly the exercise.
How does this compare with other sports you've played?
Well, it's real intense, and there's a lot of you get your exercise real quick playing racquetball, and I played tennis and a few other sports, and this is just more intense.
Good way to get a workout in a short period of time, and it's convenient. You know, on a rainy day or whatever, you can stop by on the way home from work and get your daily exercise.
What's the appeal of racquetball?
The initial appeal is the ease of entry into the game. Everybody nowadays is looking for something that they can get immediate gratification from, and racquetball is a good avenue for that. Of course, there are varying levels of play, like any activity or sport, but the initial entry level is very easy. Not a lot of equipment's required. Learning the rules is very easy. Most of them revolve around the serve. Once the serve is gone, there's hardly anything. And then also the ability to rally on the court is very easy initially.
John McConaughey was born and grew up in New Zealand. After taking part in several sports, he settled on swimming and set a goal of going to 2 Olympics. He made his goal and competed for New Zealand in both Munich and Montreal. He still recalls the feeling.
To explain it, well, people just have to think of the biggest thrill they've ever had in their life and then multiply that about 2 times, and that would be about it.
Today, McConaughey is the racquetball pro at the Juneau Racket Club, a sport he took up to keep in shape during his swimming days. He continues living by some of the lessons he learned while training to be an Olympic swimmer.
Setting goals are very important. The first part of a goal is a dream. That's the first part of it. And then the next part is writing down your goals. And they've got to be achievable goals. If you write down something that is not achievable, there's no point in writing it down. But writing down your goals is very important. They can be short-term. They could be as much as 2 days from now, but they could be as much as 20 years from now. And the other most important thing about goals is to show them to somebody else. And in that way, you're locked in. Somebody knows some of your most inner thoughts about what you want to achieve. And so now that you've got somebody you have to account to in a way. When I swam, we used to write our goals up on the mirror, the times we had to hit, the events we wanted to go to, and what placings we wanted to. And every morning you got up and brushed your teeth, and that was your goal sitting up there. Now I just carry them around in my wallet, but they are very, very important. And if you do write down your goals, just don't push them away somewhere. If you want to attain anybody can do anything they want in the world, and I'm a firm believer that. It's just how determined, how much do you want that? And if you expect it to fall in your lap, 1 time out of 2 million it may fall in your lap. But if you work at it 9 times out of 10, you'll make it fall in your lap.
If you're talking about us being able to attain anything we want and bring it down from a big perspective to a narrow one, if we played racquetball and I really wanted to do it, even though I'm not as good a player as you, are you saying, you know, if I really concentrate that I could go out and beat you?
I believe that. Now, to some people that might seem far-fetched, but you know, for some people it might mean more work than others. But if you were to work at it, come down and hit by yourself and train 2-3 hours a day perhaps, or it might even be an hour a day for 6 months. I don't know what would occur in 6 months. I may have to get down here and start training 2 or 3 hours a day, but it is possible.
What happened that time?
Okay, again, in racquetball, it's not only sometimes if you want to get a good shot, it's get a weak return, and I got a weak return from you from a halfway decent shot, and as a result of that, it just again sat up, and I was able to kill the ball, take it down very low again, which is the ultimate shot that you can.
If a shot comes like that to your forehand, how many times can you do that kill shot?
On a good day, you should be able to hit 8 out of 10 of those shots.
I thought I had a good shot that time.
You had a great shot, but you stayed in the backcourt, and I saw you standing back. And so I knew if I could punch it down on the sidewall, front wall, or even pass you hitting it on the front wall, I might have a good chance of getting a point because you hung back too far.
McConaughey also offers racquetball instruction.
That's the 3 defensive shots, the ceiling ball shot, the round the world shot, and the Z shot. Now we'll go on to the offensive shots. The one that is known most commonly is the kill shot, and that's a shot that hits the front wall very low. Such a return is almost next to impossible. It bounces 3 or 4 times even before it comes to mid-court. The kill shot.
Is it tough to develop the skills to play at a level that you're happy with?
Well, I'd always like to get better, and so it is a little frustrating sometimes not getting there as quickly as you'd like, but I think you can develop the skills pretty rapidly to play a good game and get a good exercise out of it.